Hi, my name is Amy Cao, and the title of my poster is The Errors of the DSM as Seen through Francis Bacon's Idols of the Mind. My research explores the errors of science according to Francis Bacon's idols found in the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, which I will refer to as the DSM. The question I hope you will leave the presentation with is, why are these types of fallacies so consequential in scientific inquiry? And why should we use caution in scientific practice? The purpose of my research is to present the relationship between scientific inquiry and its projections in the world. It is crucial for scientists and researchers to understand the implications of these fallacies on the progression of knowledge. Innately, it is in our human nature to explore and explain the uncertainties in the universe. If we think about the way practicing science has transformed in time from a mechanical point of view to empiricist point of view, there remains one constant. This constant being the contribution of scientific inquiry to answer the unknowns in the world. Francis Bacon was a modern philosopher best known for his work regarding scientific fallacies. He proposed a structured and empirical approach to scientific inquiry that involves skepticism and lessens the effects of biases. He believes that the human mind is like an uneven mirror and does not reflect the events of nature without distortion, even where the utmost fidelity and care are used in observing and recording. Tendencies to error exist, and fallacious opinions arise in consequence. Fallacies in science are inevitable, and the best thing scientists can do to approach this problem is to be made more aware of their own fallacies. His theory on the idols of the mind encompasses the idols of the cave, tribe, marketplace, and the theater. There are 4 forms of fallacies that heavily influence not just the type of knowledge that is discovered, but the motivation to discover that particular form of knowledge, how that knowledge is perceived, then interpreted in the community, and finally, how that knowledge will be used to produce even further knowledge. To understand the influences of the idols better, I chose to explore the Diagnostic Statistical Manual. More specifically, I focused on how the definition of homosexuality had evolved throughout the various revisions of the DSM as seen in the timeline. The DSM is a psychiatric statistical categorization of various disorders based on the grouping of similar symptoms seen in individuals with cognitive disorders. The ultimate goal of producing a statistical manual is to formulate a universal classification system aimed to properly diagnose and treat psychological disorders. My paper focused primarily on how the idol of the theater affects the idol of the marketplace. All the idols play a role in affecting one another. However, it's difficult to properly evaluate the effects of the cave and the tribe on the DSM with proper evidence given the current constraints. The cave refers to errors according to human nature, whereas the tribe refers to fallacies caused by an individual's personal upbringing. They both play a role in the type of knowledge an individual decides to pursue and why he or she pursues it. One may see how obtaining evidence about each individual involved in the DSM may be difficult in this case. The idol of the theater are the errors in scientific inquiry caused by the resistance of new ideas. This resistance could be due to previously formulated theories and beliefs. A strong example of the theater can be seen by religious views regarding homosexuality, where non-procreative sexuality represented not only a violation of God's nature, but a dangerous diversion of energy from the task of human survival, classifying homosexuality as a sin. As seen in the timeline, in 1973, the APA removed the diagnosis of homosexuality from the 2nd edition, which resulted from competing theories that pathologized homosexuality and those that did not. The idol of the theater directly influences the idol of the marketplace. The idol of the marketplace are the errors caused by poorly defined terms. The application of words play an essential role in influencing thought, which impacts the way society perceives scientific inquiry. The errors of the idols are constantly influencing one another, creating a cycle. When viewing the timeline, one may notice that solely from this categorization with disorders affiliated with rape and mutilation, one can imagine the stigma that projected on homosexuality. Altering the definition of homosexuality in academia will inevitably influence the way society perceives it as a whole. This is the influence of the marketplace on society. As said by Ronald Bayer, who wrote Homosexuality and the American Psychiatry, The Politics of Diagnosis. The struggle over the status of homosexuality also provides an extraordinary opportunity to examine the complex relationship between psychiatry and contemporary society. It has become a matter of conventional wisdom to note that psychiatry is affected by the culture within which it is embedded, tending to reflect the dominant values of the time. As you can see, it is imperative for scientists to understand the implications of these fallacies when contributing to scientific inquiry and approaching scientific practice as a means to prevent errors as much as possible. Thank you.